Merry belated Christmas. Happy holidays. Did you guys get some time off? You're a Virginia fan today, okay? You do that on purpose.
He needed to talk to Wicks today.
Did you guys have a good breakdown?
Yeah.
Good.
How was yesterday for you?
Yesterday was good. We actually got the morning to spend with our families, which was awesome. And then we just kind of pushed through the night a little bit longer, but that was really cool. That's important for all of us. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks for asking.
So can I ask you a question and then a follow-up?
Yeah, who's stopping you?
What was your takeaway from the Detroit game? You know, they just kind of screened you guys to death in that game.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from that part of it?
From the screen game?
Yeah.
That we needed to get better at stopping screens. But when you really watch that game, I mean, we were really close on a couple of them to get them down early, and we just missed. So I saw improvement from where we were to that game. I thought we got better from previously to that game and playing the screen game. Although it didn't show, I felt better about it, and then we continued to work it, and I think we're still getting better at it. So I thought that was a starting point where maybe the result didn't show, but I thought the process did, and we just got to keep working at it to get better. They're hard to stop, but you know, I think the group's doing a really good job of getting better at defending them.
What's the challenge of stopping a screen and as a play caller of trying to anticipate it or give an alert about it?
Yeah, you study. Well, first, what's hard about it from a playing standpoint is, you know, you start getting up the field and rushing, right? And all of a sudden the back slips in and they find space there. And then if you're in zone coverage, those guys are pretty deep. So picture the D-line going up the field, right? And then picture the under coverage dropping, say, 10 and 12 yards deep. Now you have a huge gap in space between the second level and the D-line. So when the D-line tries to retrace, they're further away. And when that second level tries to go press it and contain it, there's just a lot of space in the open field. And so that's hard, right? And then sometimes you can be in a man call, which might be good. So, you know, say you're the back, which I think we did this before, but say you're the back and I have to cover you. If I can get you in time before you catch the screen, we might be able to get it down. But if I don't and I get blocked and everyone else is run off, now there's not very many guys to get the screen down. So you're trying to look at different ways to stop the screen. Last week we called the blitz. We called the simulated pressure when Keyshawn got the sack. And actually the defensive end who was dropping, it was just like one of those things we kind of right place, right time, right? He was right there, so he got the tight end to where they were trying to throw the screen to, and he had nowhere to go, and then Keyshawn hit the ball. So there's various different ways to stop him. And then as far as studying him, it's, you know, it's down distance, field position, who's in the game, and you try to take some shots. And, you know, I think everybody in the country, third and extra long, and everybody's saying screen alert, right? Try to get back on track, or second and extra long, try to get half the distance sometimes with the screen alert. But it's the teams that pop them anywhere, anytime, anywhere on the field. You know, that makes it harder. So they're tough. But that's a good question.
Thanks.
How has Cox gone from 9 games as a healthy scratch to, I think, since you guys traded Preston, he's top 10 in the league in sacks and pressures. That can't be easy to do, right?
No, but it just shows when we sat up here, whenever it was, right before he was about to get in, and we wanted him to get in. I clearly remember the day watching him on the look team, and our guys were having trouble blocking him. You know, so it's a guy buying in, getting better. You know, I think Rebs, Vio, and Wendell have done a really good job coaching him and pushing him, right? But then he gets better and he takes advantage of his reps against our starting offensive line. Then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, they had a tough time blocking him today. Then all of a sudden the conversation becomes, this guy has earned the right to play. And that's our job, right? To play the guys who are improving and show us that they're getting better and they bought in and they're going to help us win games. Because ultimately, it's the only thing we care about, right? Getting these guys better, winning football games. And he earned the right, and it doesn't surprise me what he's doing right now. And the beautiful thing is he's getting better, though, because he's getting game reps. And the jump he's made from his first game until now that he's actually played, I mean, we keep playing him more and more, and he keeps showing up. He knows what he's doing. He's confident in what he's doing, and he's playing really fast, and he's a very talented player. And I love the way he practices every day. He had another day like that today. I mean, just coming from watching the film, he was so disruptive again. I think you're going to continue to see improvement with him. But that is a credit to him, and he earned it.
What do you think his strengths are as an edge rusher.
He's athletic. He's got speed. He's got good speed to power. He's strong, and he showed that he can finish. And he's getting good at running games too, which has been fun to watch.
If I remember right, their tight end didn't play against you guys the first time, if I remember that right. What does he add to their? I mean, and they have the running back, they got multiple receivers, and now with him.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it hard with the ball distribution, right? Whether it's going to Jefferson or whether it's going to Addison or whether it's going to Jones, and now you have the tight end to worry about. He's big, he's athletic. It's like having another big wideout out there, and he's a great target for the quarterback to get the ball to. I think anytime in football you got good wideouts and you have the element of a good tight end, kind of like we do, I mean, I think it's a threat, and you got to be aware of it, whether it's in zone or man. Who's going to match up on him in man? You know, there's certain zones where, you know, you got to get him down too. I mean, he's a strong runner. He's a really good football player.
Jeff, going back to Matt's questions about Cox, you know, every coaching staff talks about next man up, but you lose Evan, and Zane goes in and plays really well for you. CV, you haven't had Jair forever. What is allowing you guys to have your guys deliver as the next man up?
Yeah, well, I think Goody's done a good job in his staff of bringing in good depth. You know, I think the assistant coaches have done a good job in preparing those guys, and the importance of not just coaching your starter, but coaching the backups. And, you know, really not doing that in such coach speak in, no, like it's just as important for you to make sure that guy's ready and to get him to buy in and to give him the confidence to make sure he knows exactly what he's doing. So when his time does come, and in this league it's probably going to come, that they are ready to go, right? I think Zay Anderson is such a good example of that. Today's Thursday, right? Last week at this time, you know, Evan was still healthy and practicing. Evan didn't get hurt until Friday afternoon in practice. Zane didn't get all those practice reps. He barely practiced. That's like a nightmare for a coach, right? There's no rewinding the clock to get Zane all those reps that he needs to play in the game. So, one, credit Zane, because if Zane were sitting in the classroom as RD and DA are going over this stuff with him and really not paying attention, like really paying attention, not just saying, what if I get in, right? But no, really paying attention, taking the coaching, going through mental reps, watching when the other guys are out there doing it. And then it's easier, right? It's easier when you're doing something to learn it. But for a guy to take it, seeing it, not really doing it as much, but then get in the game and being ready, I mean, that's a credit to him and the coaches for making sure that he is ready and having the confidence to do it and then showing up like he did, because he played good against the run and the pass, and he was very physical. I mean, so again, I give Zane a lot of credit, and I think the key is for us as coaches to not overcomplicate things. So it's like this, I get in the game and I have no idea what I know. Like, we got to make sure they can play fast. All these guys can play fast and that they're ready to do it. And I think that's a big part of it too. But I mean, there's so many examples. Like we questioned who the Mike was going to be last week. Eric Wilson starts instead of Quay, who Quay was playing really well, and he runs the defense. And you know, we played pretty good defense in the game. That's a credit to him communicating, getting the checks, doing all the things that he's doing. You know, same thing with Keyshawn going in the slot and having one of his better games, right? Because he's been playing at the outside quarter. And then, you know, it's fun to be around this group. They work hard, they're hungry, they get along together, and it's not like the backups are just sitting there. No, they're getting ready to play. We're going to need that. I mean, we got a lot of football left, and we're going to need all those guys. And we need to make them feel part of that, too. I think that's really important.
So how's your pass defense held up? Obviously, you've had Jair forever, like Jason just mentioned, and you know every team's got a number one receiver. Obviously, Seattle did, and you guys played well that game. You're going to face Minnesota here this week. How you guys kind of survived there?
Yeah, I think you got to look at it. It's not how the secondary's done it. We've done it as a team, and we've done it as a defense. And I think that's the biggest thing that we're stressing to these guys right now. When we're defending the pass and Justin Jefferson and all these good wideouts and Sam Darnold, and like it's not just put it on the DBs. It's what can we do as a defense to make sure that we're playing well back there. We're rushing well. We're sending pressures. We're running good games. We're dropping into different zones, right? We're taking a lot of pride in how we disguise things right now. The players are taking a lot of pride in that right now. So we're doing it together. And I think that's the biggest key to it all right now.
Nowan Gary's production has really ramped up. What have you seen from him the last 4, 5, 6 weeks?
He just looks more comfortable, you know, and I think a lot of guys do because he's playing faster and he's thinking less. And I think Rebs and VO and Wendell are doing a good job of getting him in those positions where he can succeed. I think we have a better grasp of who he is and what he can do well. And I think he has a comfort level right now in what he's doing. And he has played better, and he's gotten a lot of pressure. But he's playing the run game better, too. And that's a sign of an unselfish player. He's using his hands. He's setting edges. He's getting off blocks. He's running to the ball. I mean, even in practice today, and I keep going back to that, but it's fresh on my mind. I mean, there's great examples of him just doing great things in the run game, and then he had a great pick today in practice, which, again, you're picking for somebody to come around, and it's unselfish, but then all of a sudden you're the one to pop free, right? So there's complete buy-in right now, which is awesome to see, and it's a credit to him.
Rushing well in general. You feel like you guys have found something these past 2 games that is going to be sustainable with the playoffs coming up?
I do, and it has to be. And I think that we've created depth because we're playing a lot of guys. And I think towards the end of the game, when teams have had to throw the ball, we're fresh, and we look fast out there. And I think they're getting better. And if we're going to make a run at this thing, we're going to have to be.
I know you said you wanted Cooper to be able to play fast, and you don't want to overload him. But can you incrementally increase? He's so talented. You know, are there ways to actually highlight him and put a little more on his plate, or do you want to just keep it? You know,
I mean, he was the NFC Player of the Week a week ago, and he led the team in tackles this last week. So I think we are highlighting him. I mean, we're sending him. He's running games. Yeah, I mean, I think we're doing a good job of highlighting him right now. I mean, I'm not sure there's much more we can do with him right now. I think as he continues to develop, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of that right now.
How much difference have you made recently in disguising your coverages? And is that sort of like the last chapter when you install your defense and you teach your technique, and then to be able to get guys to float around in secondary?
Yeah, it's got to be, in order to get good at disguise, which has always been a big deal to me, and I know it is to the rest of the defensive staff. You really got to know where your end part is first, right? So take a very simple coverage like cover 2, for example. Like, you got to be really good if you're the safety of understanding where you need to end up, where your eyes need to be, how deep you need to be, how wide you need to be. And in order to start over here and get there, you got to be pretty good at that first part first. So we kind of had to wait for these guys to get really good at what they were doing, and then step 2 in the process is tag it with something to disguise it first. But until they get really good at knowing what they're doing and be able to executing it, you kind of want to hold off on that. And the more you go and the further you get, we can continue to have fun with that. And I think it's to the point right now where, guys in the meetings are watching each other, and if one guy's kind of giving it up, they're kind of, calling each other out and having a little fun with it. But I think it is important that they do take pride in that because, at times it makes a quarterback hold the ball for a little bit extra, or it makes the receivers run the wrong route. But you got to be careful because there's times if you get too cute with it and you're out of position, you could give up a big play, and we can't do that. So there's always give and take, but that's important that we study that. It's just you really got to have a good foundation before you kind of put a step before that within the call.
Jeff, when you look at that first matchup with Minnesota, obviously there were turnovers and things like that. You guys were playing on the short field, but in that second half, Minnesota only scored 3 points. I guess what did you see from the defense and just how they played and handled what Minnesota likes to do offensively?
Yeah, well, one, it's a good team, so I don't want to take anything away from them. They got really good players, and I think Kevin does a great job calling it. In the first half, just looking back, we weren't all on the same page. I thought we gave up some things that, hopefully we've cleaned up at this point, whether it was setting an edge, whether it was a guy being in the wrong gap, a guy going the wrong way. And I just felt like we were a little bit off in the first half. I thought we played better in the second half of the game. And then I think we've gotten better in general as the seasons went on. So, it seems like a lifetime ago when you watch that film, but there's certain things that you got to study and learn from it because if we don't correct, it will come back and get us again.
Go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead, Bill.
We can do both.
Thanks.
As long as she doesn't yell at me.
How's Javon looked, and what would it mean to get him back, whether it's this week or whenever you get him back? What would it mean to get Javon back?
Yeah, I think he's taking steps. Certainly be nice to get him back. He brings a physicality to the game, whether he's playing nickel or safety. He's good in the run game. He's aggressive in the pass game. I thought he was playing really good football, and he's one of our better players. So, hopefully we'll have a chance to get him back and get him going. But we've certainly missed him.
So, Jeff, look, I've never played for either one of these guys, but both Matt LeFleur and Kevin O'Connell look like pretty damn good head coaches to me. Now that you've worked with Matt and you have history with Kevin, right, in Cleveland and San Francisco, do you see some similarities between them? And having been a head coach yourself, it sure seems like they connect with their guys pretty damn well. I'm just wondering kind of your impressions since you know both of them.
Yeah, one, I think offensively they're really, really good at what they do. They're very bright. They stay a step ahead of you. They study it really hard. They work hard. I think they're really good play callers. They're very creative. So from that regard, I think they're two of the best in the league. As far as comparing them, their play styles, the one thing I'll say about both of them, they're both great people. They're both extremely honest, and you always know where you stand. They're not afraid of hard conversations, but they treat people the right way. They're demanding, they're not demeaning, and I think that's probably why they both connect so well with their players. But certainly, obviously I think Matt's done an unbelievable job from what he's done here so far and what he's been able to do this year. And I'm a big fan of Kevin as a person, and what he's done this year is, he's had an incredible season. It will be a challenge for us this week. I'm excited to see him, and I'm excited to get the chance and coach against him again this week.